Spotlight. So today we have Leah from Westbourne School, a very top IB school around the world. So welcome, and could you introduce yourself and where is the school? The first question.
Thank you. Welcome. So I am actually based in Singapore, but Westbourne was originated in the UK, is in Penarth. It's been there for 128 years. And then 4 years ago, the Sydney school was established. They're having the top IB results for the last 2 years in Australia. And then last year, we launched Singapore school for the last year. So currently, we're taking, in the UK, full visa, full boarding opportunities.
Yep.
In Sydney and Singapore, it's for families relocating. Not currently offering student visa, hopefully next year for Singapore.
Amazing. I mean, is there a difference between those three schools in terms of the teaching styles, or is there any very major differences?
We are one school, one culture. We're all owned by Westbourne. We are not a franchise. Really a global approach and full support to the students. Really small class sizes, really additional support, open style learning, where the students can feel empowered to go ask the teachers for help at any time. They are really focused on getting the students ready for the next steps in their career or in university, getting ready for university, top universities. So the same focus for all three schools.
So students from all three schools, how they collaborate together, and do they do lessons together or any interaction?
Like travel between campuses?
Yeah, actually last week, the Sydney kids were in the UK. So they, once a year, get a chance to go to different areas. So I think in December, the UK students are going to Sydney, which is pretty exciting. And then we do a global classroom as well, where we have interaction with all three schools together.
Oh, that's so nice.
So they do lessons at the same time together? Or?
Yeah, they do classes together about once a month. And then we also do like the college Olympiads between the schools, a little competition.
And then they just travel to each other's schools, just experiencing. I can't go back in time, so sorry. I mean, it's so rare, like, because studying overseas and then they're actually exposed to going to overseas again and again. Like, it's not just, okay, I'm going to UK and then I'm going to be staying in Westbourne, UK, but you actually get the chance to go to Australia, Singapore as well.
Definitely. And you can also actually transfer, too. If you say you want to go to UK for a few years and then you want to go Singapore or vice versa, that's an alternative as well.
Oh, okay. So all credits, everything's just transferred completely, 100%. Yeah. Actually, as an IB school, like, UK A-level is, quite more popular. A lot of people think that UK means A-level. So there's always a comparison between A-level and IB. From your perspective, what do you think is the major differences? Or is there any maybe advantages or benefits from taking the IB?
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, if you look at interviewed 10 students who've graduated from each, I mean, they're both great curriculums, but the A-level focus on 4 subjects, where IB-DP has 6 subjects, also has the extended essay, CAS, creativity, activity, service, and theory of knowledge, TOK. Yes. So it's really global mindset, and provided students with more opportunities to be more confident and independent. And you'll see that more students who graduate the IBDP get accepted to top universities. You really see independent, confident students. It really opens their opportunities for the universities they want to go to.
I mean, would you say, does that mean because you're taking more subjects, would IB be a lot harder, more intense comparing?
It's actually only about 40 hours longer than the A-levels. Otherwise, it's just a lot more exposure to different areas.
But would it be a challenge because in the IB you have to pick subjects from 6 different areas? Would it be a challenge for a student?
I mean, it's not easy. It's not meant to be easy, but no, it's a great opportunity as you get 3 high level and 3 lower level SL. So you really have 3 focal areas and 3 that are not as in depth.
Okay. I mean, going back to, the advantage of having 3 different locations, do you think that students who go to the UK will just focus on, like, I want to study in the UK, or would they be like, okay, I'll be in UK, study IB, but maybe I just want to go to Australia for university, and then vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, because we have connections with universities as well across the world, we do have students from UK who want to go to university in Australia, and vice versa. Students in Singapore and Australia want to go to university in UK. So it really does open those doors. Okay.
In terms of international students, is there like a lot from maybe Asian countries, or is there any particular,
Yeah, it's quite diverse. The UK school has 40 different nationalities, but 70% British actually. So it is quite diverse, and probably 15% Asian from Asian countries.
Oh, only? Wow. Because nowadays, there's one thing that parents always ask about is what are the student spread like? How many international? How many are from one particular country as well? Because last thing they want is, too much international students. Otherwise, they'll feel that they aren't immersing themselves more into, the system, basically.
I think having the diversity really opens opportunities and the global mindset for students. So I think it's a great opportunity for these kids.
I mean, do you mind talking about like the facilities from each campus then? I'm pretty sure because the location, the things that they have are different. Maybe some of them are quite unique as well.
Yes, the UK is a full through school with boarding. And then the Sydney and Singapore offices don't have the boarding facilities, but we're really set up as a professional environment, really set up for an open environment, more like a Google type environment than you would a normal campus, because it's really getting the students ready for university. And it's a university-style setup with individual study areas and open classroom areas and actual classrooms as well.
Okay.
It's really set for academics and STEM and business focus.
Oh, okay. I mean, in terms of the IB way it's delivered, do you think it's more on a lot of lesson time or more on self-study time as well?
Well, it's really mostly focused on classroom time.
Yeah.
So normally there's about one free period per day where students can
Right.
use their study period.
Okay. Quite nice as well.
But as you said, the setting of the facilities that will be providing a lot of space for students for discussions, and I think that's what IB really asking for, that kind of teamwork, as well as the analytical skills and critical thinking and being in a group and how to come up with solutions and all those. Going through that kind of math method in a way. So yeah.
I mean, talking about the curriculum, I want to know a little bit more. Like, there is 6 subjects, and then you mentioned about theory of knowledge, and then what was the other one? Sorry, the other ones as
CAS,
well. CAS as
creativity, activity, and service.
What are those in terms?
So basically, the CAS is we focus on 3 different areas, and for the first 6 months, we go to utilize all areas so students can figure out what area they want to focus on.
Yeah.
For the next 6 months, they'll target one area. So for example, creativity, they went and did pottery. For activities, they did bowling, and there was another activity as well. And then for service, they volunteered in a soup kitchen. So they try to give them access to as much as possible. We also did the British Chamber recently in Singapore, where the students volunteered a sustainability event, and they took notes, and then afterwards went to the British Chamber and did follow-up sessions with things that they found insightful, things that worked, things that maybe didn't work from their perspective, which was really cool.
Amazing.
While we're talking about IB, but your school, Westbourne, also offered the GCSE curriculum beforehand. So students actually come through GCSE. Do you also have a pre-IB, like for students wanting to?
Yep,
like
the IGCSE and Pre-IB get the students ready for IBDP program. It's a great period of time to either brush up on additional English language or any areas you might be a little bit behind on, or we can really put some extra focus on so you're ready to be strong in the IBDP program.
Is there like major difference between like, should parents choose like, should I go through GCSE or should I go through Pre-IB?
So it's really the main focus for universities would be the IBDP, getting ready for IB. So the difference is if you want to have your IGCSE results, you can go and focus on those and get the testing for that. But in the end of the day, I think getting ready for university, is the IB, getting strong for the IBDP, and that is either through IB or IGCSE. Both strengthen your readiness for an IBDP program.
Perfect. I mean, because comparing before, IB takes a lot more subjects if you compare with A-levels. I think one thing that parents and students might be concerned is, okay, it feels like I'm taking more subjects in terms of numbers. Does that mean I won't have time to do extracurriculars, or would I be spending a lot more time studying, catching up on what I learned every day?
That's why we have the extra study period through the day. They can get their homework done. So a lot of the students, we have a professional tennis player, rugby player, and cello player. So the students do a lot of extracurriculars after school, and they try to get most of their work done during the day.
Amazing. I mean, before you mentioned that Singapore will be taking international students soon with the student visa, so it'll be UK and also Singapore. Any advice you would give for parents who's choosing, maybe I should go Singapore or should I go UK? Is there anything advice you can give them to make a choice which to go to?
That's a great question. So I think it's just individual for each student, what their experience is and where they want to they're both slightly different. I mean, you both get the global education. You have the boarding facilities. We plan on having homestay facilities for Singapore. Regardless of which location you choose, you can go to university in Singapore or UK. So it's just a matter of what's the right fit for you.
I mean, you've lived in the UK as well, I believe. No, really? Oh, okay. So you're mainly just in Singapore, and you visited to the UK as well, I believe. Visited? Not really. Oh, okay.
I'm glad it's not live.
Of course, that's why we cut it off, because I was going to say, what's the differences then? So you're just in Singapore, and have you lived somewhere else as well? Or?
So I've been in and out of Singapore for 10
wow.
years. But
Okay.
before that, I lived in Australia, actually.
Oh, really?
But yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Originally from the States, from California. So.
Oh, okay. Wow, interesting. That's
I know. But I guess if you want to talk about...
like living style.
Living
just,
in UK.
Just a culture difference.
So the UK it's in Penarth. It's one of the top 10 rated cities in the UK to live. It's a quiet town. It's very safe. It's a great place to live. Singapore is also great. It's very much of a city life. So if you want more of a countryside, lifestyle in the UK, you have Penarth. If you want the more of the city life in Singapore, that's the difference, I would say.
Okay. I mean, Australia, because nowadays we might be getting those who are citizens and relocating as well. So if it's okay, I want to talk about the Australia campus as well. Comparing with UK and, let's just say Singapore and Australia, is there a big difference then between those two?
Because it's in Sydney and...
Sydney and Singapore.
For Sydney, it is located near Darling Harbour, which is quite a cool little area. And they're also right next to universities. So they use their lab facilities, which is pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
So Singapore and Sydney outsource our lab facilities. It gives the student opportunity to try a different area and utilize not only the lab facilities, but then also for Sydney, they also have access to that university to have a look at.
Oh, so the school sizes are pretty much the same among all three, right? Is there anyone that's particularly bigger? Or?
So the UK is the largest school, 380 students. Sydney opened 4 years ago with about 60 students.
Okay.
And we just opened last year. Now we're about 30 students.
Okay. What's the max capacity of, is there like a plan?
Probably, we're not looking to be a massive school. The whole reason we are successful is because we provide the extra support. Some students thrive better in these type of environments, and looking to be about 100 students in Singapore and Sydney.
Oh, okay. So relatively smaller schools, smaller class sizes.
Yeah.
I mean, from our perspective, of course, smaller class sizes means each student get more care as well. But from a student's perspective, they'll be like, okay, they're going to pay more attention to me.
You cannot hide in class.
Exactly.
But the reality is you get the support. Everyone knows your name. You're not ever forgotten. You're always part of the school, of the class. And actually, there was a student who was a little behind in math and at first was a little uncomfortable being called out in class. So, one of our students who's very strong in math did a side class with all the students who are a little bit behind, and he's teaching the students to help catch them up. And to me, that's really special. And then they're laughing and having a great time and learning math. And to see someone who was, scared and now thriving is quite incredible stories.
I mean, do you have any advice for parents and students that the student might be going overseas, maybe UK or maybe Singapore or anywhere around the world? What's the advice would you give them? Like, how should they settle in or make the most out of their experience?
I think the important thing is to get settled in is to find a buddy, to be able to easily... I think with the school, it's quite easy to settle in. It's a small school, so it's not very overwhelming as it can be at a big school. You get settled in, everyone knows each other, everyone's very welcoming. There's no bullying, there's no scariness in setting up a new place. All the locations are very safe. So I think that's important for parents to know, is that they're safe for the students. For the students, it's good to know that it's small and supportive, so you're going to have friends instantly. You're not going to get forgotten about, and you're going to be included in class, and everyone's going to support each other to thrive and to be the best person you can be. So I think that's what makes it pretty cool.
Okay.
So for the UK boarding part, like as being a boarder in the UK school, so would a student allow out to the town all the time, or is there any regulations?
So there is curfew, and there is Wi-Fi turned off a certain time. So it's the balance of treating students with, as young adults as we do. That's the one thing because we believe we treat students as young adults, they act like young adults, and they're quite responsible. But at the same time, they're still teenagers, so you still have to put some rules in place. But for our students in Singapore, they can leave for lunch.
For lunch?
They leave the campus for lunch, they can come and leave as they need to, because we respect them as young adults and we expect them to respect the rules as well. So in the UK, there is some flexibility as well, but they do have some rules as well to make sure that there's a balance.
Okay, interesting. Great time. I mean, yeah, thank you. I mean, before we wrap it up, just any last messages or you want to tell the parents or the audience about the school, any message you want to tell them as well?
Well, I would say just a couple things is being such a supportive school. Students are getting to 90% of students get to the top 20 universities, which is really incredible. So not only becoming the best version of yourself, also going to, if you want academic results and going to great university, that's just a plus. And then in addition, there's a promotion going on at the moment, which is the Westbourne is covering the VAT 20% tax if they enroll before November 1st, which is a bit short notice, but we can try to extend for 1 week if possible. And we also run immersion courses in Singapore and in UK for 1 or 2 weeks. If you wanted to a taster class for a week, if you want to join a course for a week, we can help arrange that as well. So.
Amazing. All right. So for the audience who have any questions about Westbourne or any locations as well, feel free to contact Leah or us as well. And we'll thank you again, Leah, for your time today. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.